vertical video in horizontal format? Oh my God, wouldn't it be the dumbest thing if I put my microphone on my glasses? I don't even know why I just thought of this. Hold on, let's see. Wait, other way. Okay, I'm gonna leave it that way. All right, FPP Frankenstein 4x5 film. Should you shoot it? Yes. I'm not gonna make you wait till the end for a conclusion. And by the way, if you want actual details about FPP Frankenstein 4x5, you should watch Matt Marash's video, not mine. This is just for sample images and behind the scenes and explaining why I really enjoyed the process of shooting this film. But Matt Marash's video goes over way more detail. I'll put this up in the left corner or right corner for you to watch if that's what you're looking for. Extreme detail, go to Matt. Also, please don't mind me in my sweatpants. So I got together with my friend Nico here in Chicago and I said, let's shoot a bunch of sheets of FPP Frankenstein. The whole box of 25 sheets was $30. So let's actually get experimental with this and see what happens. I'm gonna use my phone here to look at the images I'm describing, but I'm gonna put it over the screen for you. So Stuart, you posted a comment when I put up a picture that I had purchased this box of film that I should shoot this at 100 ISO instead of 200. And 200 is the box speed. And you know what? I said, let's see what happens. I metered for the shadows on the blanket, and I thought that would be the perfect spot. It's probably receiving the least amount of light that in parts that need to be exposed. And as you can see, the left side of the couch, that is definitely the least exposed part of the entire image, the left side of the couch is just gone. There's nothing there. However, when I exposed by one stop more, you get a lot more detail on the couch. So Stuart, I think you were absolutely correct. This film is definitely meant to be shot at 100 ISO instead of 200, at least in this case. I think that proves it. I think both shots look really similar, except for the fact that the one that's overexposed obviously has a little more detail in the shadows in a way that I think is pleasing. Now, I also brought my flash equipment, which I actually love shooting with flash on 4x5, even though I don't do it super often. If you want to see an example of me doing it as well as composites, check out the video that's gonna pop up in the top right here. I did a composite of 4 different 4x5 images using, actually this was an external light, not flash, but still using that with 4x5 and then mixing it all together. This one, for whatever reason, the flash didn't sync correctly, and so we just ended up being kind of backlit. So this actually ends up being a happy accident because this is a great example of what happens when you super underexpose FPP Frankenstein 4x5. I think it looks great. Obviously it's more grainy here and there's a lot of loss of detail in the shadows because who knows how many stops this was underexposed since the flash didn't sync. But we both did one and I think they look really interesting regardless. It wasn't our intention, but that's part of the fun of film. Happy accident. This is like Bob Ross over here. Now, one of the best parts about shooting a film that is $30 for 25 sheets is that you can get experimental without feeling like, I'm about to waste $10 if this doesn't turn out right. It's more like, okay, this sheet was $1 something. I'm developing on my own, scanning on my own. I'm losing like $2 maybe if this doesn't turn out right. So Nico decided to do a double exposure, which I think he said he hadn't done with his 4x5 camera yet. And that's just a testament of part of why FPP Frankenstein is so great to have, is because you start to feel this empowerment of I can try new things without feeling like I'm taking a huge risk. I love the way this double exposure turned out. It's one of my favorite portraits of me. It's so creative. I think he nailed it with the way the sunlight came in through the windows. And then I said to Nico, let's do something stupid, like absolutely disgraceful to the art of 4x5 photography. And so I put my tripod with the 4x5 camera on it in a totally random direction, position, and I said, let's just figure this out. So I put a ton of rear tilt on it to just even out the way it was gonna look. I put a ton of front standard tilt on it to get the entire thing in focus, and at that time I had focused on the carpet, which I did nail. And then I said, you know what, Nico, you should lay down right there. Position him right there, and then change the focus just a little bit because I thought maybe we'd have the same focus plane. I got his face perfectly in focus and a lot of his chest as well because of that front tilt. And this was so interesting. Again, a shot I would never, ever take on T-Max 400 before. But now that I've experimented with this FPP Frankenstein, now I feel like I could be more confident to do that with a higher quality film. Now, another thing that we did to be experimental, we were like, let's do a triple exposure. Let's take a photo of this insane painting, which, by the way, Nico had Nico and some other people had defaced and is now hanging up in his apartment. I said, let's take a picture of this, and the two of us will be the second and third exposure after getting the first exposure of the painting, and each of us will be lit on opposite sides when we take our photo. We lined it up correctly using saran wrap over the ground glass. That was Nico's idea, and then marking the eye points. And we didn't get it perfect, and it ends up being weird, but again, have you ever, done this? Have you ever done a triple exposure? Maybe not. I know I hadn't. Had to take the grungy selfie. Nico took a nice grungy selfie in his beautiful bathroom mirror lighting. This was, I think, a half-second exposure, so there's a tiny bit of shake, but again, I think it's a cool picture. It's pretty neat. And the last one, which I took, was the view out of Nico's window. If this looks hazy, that's not because of the film. It's actually just because I think the outside of the window was a little bit dirty and the sun was hitting it in just the right way. That's okay. But again, you can see how sharp this is. It's got great contrast, it's sharp, and I actually really like the way this looks, even with the weird window marks. So you've seen some more sample images from Nico and I on FPP Frankenstein 4x5, and to be honest, I think if you saw those and you thought to yourself, no, I don't want to shoot that, I don't like it, I think you might be a little crazy. At the very least, even if you don't love the way it turns out at the end with the contrast and the sharpness and all of that, why wouldn't you get a box just to do dumb things with 4x5 film that you've never even thought about doing before because you didn't want to risk it? Like, that's one of the best parts about this film. Yes, I loved the images and the way they turned out. I will definitely be buying more FPP Frankenstein, but more than that, I liked the freedom of being able to try new things in a way that I just didn't feel comfortable doing before because of the expensive film. I hope this was helpful. Like I said, if you want to see more details about FPP Frankenstein, watch Matt Marash's video. It's way more detail. I'll link it in the description of this video. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and I'll see you in the next video. I should probably take this off.